Today we are talking about the most dangerous and fearless person, whose name you might have already heard. He left no one in his way as he pursued his dreams. Whoever stood against him was either killed or forced to join him. Yes, we are talking about Pablo Escobar, a mafia kingpin of the 1980s. His story begins as the son of a poor farmer who rose to become the world's seventh richest man. His family consisted of his mother, wife, and two children, a son and a daughter. Today, his family lives in Argentina. Pablo started his empire with small crimes, initially dealing in the supply of marijuana and other illegal substances. Then he met a man named Cockroach, who introduced him to cocaine. Pablo didn't waste any time and jumped at the opportunity, beginning his journey to becoming Don Pablo, or El Patrón. He started exporting cocaine from Colombia to the rest of the world, with the United States becoming one of his largest markets. His operations grew so massive that they significantly impacted America. However, despite increasing pressure on him, Pablo Escobar remained unfazed. He had Colombia in the palm of his hand and solidified his control by distributing money to the poor, ensuring their loyalty and making it difficult for the government to act against him. People began calling him the Robin Hood of Colombia. Pablo's brother, Gustavo Gaviria, warned him that they were becoming too arrogant, with their lavish purchases of planes, cars, boats, submarines, hotels, and over 700 houses. Gustavo advised that continuing to expand their wealth and influence would eventually attract trouble. To protect his fortune, Pablo began hiding money in fields, under the ceilings of houses, and even inside his mother's furniture. When his mother asked why he didn't deposit the money in a bank, Pablo replied, "Banks are thieves." His accountant, known as Blackbeard, was in charge of hiding and managing these funds. Even today, some of Pablo's hidden money is occasionally discovered in Colombia. When Pablo felt that the situation was slipping out of his control, he decided he would run for the presidency of Colombia to shield himself completely. However, he came up against a justice minister who opposed him. Pablo had the minister assassinated, striking fear into the hearts of the entire government. The government retaliated by seizing many of his properties and demanding his surrender. Pablo agreed, but set his own conditions, including building his own prison and ensuring no police presence within a 2-kilometer radius. Surprisingly, the government agreed. Pablo built a luxurious prison called La Catedral, where he and his gang lived in comfort and continued their operations. Despite being in prison, he killed 2 men inside and eventually escaped. When Pablo learned of his cousin Gustavo Gaviria's death, he was devastated, but didn't lose his resolve. That same day, he ordered the execution of everyone who had informed the police. A police officer later went to Pablo's hometown and urinated on his statue, enraging him further. Pablo decided to kill anyone who crossed him, no matter how powerful they were. He planned and attacked that police officer, killing him and many of his colleagues at their station. Pablo told the officer before killing him, "This bullet is in my brother Gustavo Gaviria's name." Pablo then orchestrated several high-profile attacks, including blowing up an airplane that killed 107 people. His terror spread across the globe. Another notorious act was his attack on Colombia's Palace of Justice. He collaborated with the Manintin guerrilla group, bribing them with 5 million Colombian pesos to take over the Supreme Court. They took judges and civilians hostage and burned down a room filled with files related to Pablo before escaping. The next part of this story will follow soon.